Friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about different options as far as making your own junk journals from the Dollar Tree. This video might be a little heavily edited. That's what I want to say, heavily edited, because I have a lot that I want to cover, because my goal here is to have one video that I can refer back to when I'm working in some of my journals. If you have questions about like where did you get that? How did you make that? You know, supply lists, and other videos that I've made, this one being in particular. So in the description box, I'm going to have timestamps. I'll have a supplies list. I'll have some links to some of my other videos. And yeah, so I just want to kind of throw that out there and let you know that this is basically kind of a Dollar Tree resource video. So yeah, so I'm going to make, let's see now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 different types. I'm not going to make all of them here on this video, but I am going to kind of walk you through how I made them. So let's get started. So the first one that I want to talk about is this one. I love this journal. So this particular lace from the Dollar Tree, I have not been able to find again, but my goal with these videos is to try to stay as much Dollar Tree supplies as possible. Sometimes you have to kind of, you know, shake things up a little bit. I will have a link in the description box on the Christmas journal that I made that shows how I actually put all of this together. This time I'm just going to kind of flip through this and then show a few of the supplies that I use. So here is the inside. I used a paper sack where they have them, I think they're $1.25 each. So either use one of theirs or something maybe you have in your stash, or even fold up some of the packing paper that you get at Amazon, that kind of thing. But like I said, I'm trying to stay pretty true to the Dollar Tree. I use this as my planner for my Dollar Tree videos. So I put this little guy in here. I don't really use it as much as I'd like to say, but you know, I like it. It's kind of cute. So it makes it feel more like a planner. On the first page, I have all my lists of different ideas, different things, but mostly let's talk about the pages in here. So a lot of these pages are either from a pad of paper, maybe a paper sack, pages from a book that I bought that had lots of different kinds of cool scenery. That's in a different video that I've made, but I just wanted to point out that you could just use any book page that has, or maybe a magazine cover, you know, that has some sort of image on the front. A coloring book page, graph paper. This is a project that I want to do in another video coming up. Parchment paper, lined paper that I tea-dyed, a pocket that I made out of the parchment paper, more of, I think that this might be packing paper right here. So that's not Dollar Tree. Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what this is? Hold on. This is actually from the Dollar Tree. This is packing paper in their office supplies slash shipping little area that they have at the Dollar Tree. And what I did was I crinkled it up and then I put it in here because I wanted it to be a little bit more pliable. Either that, or you know what I think I might have done also? I actually think I may have tea-dyed this. Yes, I think that maybe I tea-dyed some of this and it kind of just came out wrinkly like this. So yeah, that's good to have for pages. More lined paper. And that's about it for that, because that's the middle. So yeah, and let me show you, even though I have made a video about it, let me show you real quick some ideas on how you can cover any journal. So that's just the journal inside. You can do this process with any of your journals. So I grabbed some ribbon. Like I said, for some reason, they don't have this lace ribbon anymore, at least at the Dollar Trees in my area. This is a cute fabric placemat that I found with little animals on it. But you can use anything. They have plenty of them. Most of the ones that I've seen in this season have been like really plain maroons, black, blue, you know, kind of boring. Here's some fabric. Let me throw that over here. Here's some fabric from their Crafter's Square. I tore up my little label pulling it off of there. But usually you would need maybe one piece of this to cover a journal this size. And these right here are what I use for the insides. Yes, this one is paper. Nice. I use the paper ones or the plastic covered ones. It doesn't matter to me. What I like most is the fact that it's lined with the bubble. Okay, so that is a quick overview of the supplies that I use to make the covers for some of my journals. I'm going to refer you to the video where I do the whole process rather than do it here because I have quite a few other projects I'd like to share. So let's talk about a couple of other kind of easier options to make your own journals. These particular types of journals I've been making for a long time. This is where I started actually, was just buying a notebook and gluing the pages together. The reason why I want to definitely glue the pages together in this particular journal is because these pages are very, very thin. It's a sketchbook, but it's the Dollar Tree. They don't use the best quality of their papers, but that's okay. You can just glue them together and make them twice as thick, or glue 3 together. So I'm going to show you what I use. I use matte Mod Podge. That's just my go-to. But that's, it would be a little messy for you to use these tops to get it all on there. You can do it, but it's a little bit messier than just using maybe some of the Aleene's tacky glue that they have there. I've used these for years, library cards, membership cards, but it occurred to me the other day that they have gift cards there. And so you can just go ahead and put $1 on it, $1.50. I don't know if they have a limit to how much you could put on their gift cards. I put $10 on this just because I thought it'd be kind of handy to have, but it's so pretty. I really like it. And they have a really nice, selection of these. But what I do is, open the page up, put on the glue. Don't go too far so that you're getting into these holes, of course, but get your glue on there, close your page, and then run your card across it. And if you're not wanting to make a big mess on your work surface, grab one of your cutting boards. If you've purchased these are awesome to work for a work surface. You can just wipe them up with a baby wipe or a hand wipe. These little guys right here, clean it up and keep going. But yeah, really great for not keep getting your surface just yucky, right? So that's one way of doing it, just gluing all the pages together, and then you have a journal that you can work in with some substantial, semi-substantial pages in it, right? This is what I did. I tried to pay attention to where it was when I was gluing them down, and I ended up having this sticking out here, and that's easily remedied. What I would do there is run a pencil down some of these pages and either cut them with your scissors, or if you have a cutter, just use that. But yeah, super easy. This is a composition type notebook. It doesn't have lines in it. It just said notes on it, and I'd never seen these before. So I took half of the pages out, and when I did, it did kind of compromise the stitching in the middle here. It kind of came up a little bit, so I just put some tape on there just to make sure that it stayed sewn in. It didn't, or the stitches came loose. So yeah, again, the same process of just some glue and a card to just kind of, straighten them out. Like you can see that they didn't, there's places where it didn't exactly adhere perfectly, but I'm going to be, collaging over this or painting over this. There's going to be a lot of different things that I would do on these pages, and you're not going to see any of that. So that has never been an issue before. So what I did with the extra pages is I held onto them. Let me pull that off of there. Clip. Yeah, these are all just single pages like this. And I wanted to show you how I made an accordion. Let's see, where is it? Is it? Yeah. I wanted to show you how I made this cool accordion journal. It's a no-sew journal. So this cover right here is just one of these file folders, and you get 8 of them in there, and they're heavy enough to make a really nice cover. And so that's what I made this journal out of, but like I said, it's a no-sew. So here we go. Let me show you real quick. On the inside back cover, you adhere this first page, and then you glue all of these pages together, and then in an accordion style, you just go ahead, you pop it back in there, and you have a journal. And so what I thought I'd show you today is something that kind of came to me the other day, is making journals out of their greeting cards. So they have these types that are I think they're 2 for $1. Yeah, they had cards that were 2 for $1. And then this one was $1.25 because it was larger. When I chose the cards for this project, I chose them by the color of the envelope that I wanted to use. Because I'm going to be covering everything else up, I wasn't really too worried about, what was going on with the card. I really wanted to be able to reuse this envelope. So let me show you this real quick. This is one that I've put together kinda, but I haven't finished. But this is what I did with the envelope. I took it apart and I refolded it to fit on the back of the journal. Because the point of some of the Dollar Tree projects is to use as many free or as many, inexpensive items as you can. Or, going back to the fact that a lot of us only have a Dollar Tree in our small towns, just the fact of having, using as many resources as you can from a small store kind of thing. Yeah. So anyway, well, I thought I'd show you how I made this accordion. Let's see. I'm going to pick 6 pages. You can always add more later or take them out if you've put too many in, actually. So that's the one thing about this that's really a great project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my pages. I'm only going to cut them this way because as I adhere them together, some of the seams are going to be in the middle of the page anyway. So there's really no use in cutting it going in this direction here. Let me show you. Might as well just leave this and just cut it to size going in this direction of your card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down. Okay, so the card measures at 8 inches, and I feel comfortable with about maybe 1/4 of an inch on the top and bottom. So I'm going to cut it at 7 3/4. And all you have to do, I'm going to grab my cutting board. And then all you have to do is put a little bit of glue on this side. And a little bit of glue on this side. Whoops. And put them together. Now you want to try to keep them, of course, as straight as you can, because if you don't, they start getting wonky fast. So I'm going to glue this to the back. Because it's so long, it's falling off my table. Just a regular old glue stick. This one I've been using the heck out of, so it's getting a little low, but it works. Usually it's a little bit more purple than that, but for some reason I'm getting to the bottom of it and it's not as purple. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Get this on here as straight as possible. That looks about right. A little bit shorter at the top, but once it's on there, it's kind of hard to use your card to get it squished down. And then, so let's see where we want to. I'm going to grab a ruler. I think this actually might be a Dollar Tree ruler. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about maybe 1/4 of an inch in. Let's see. That's about 1/4 of an inch in. Make sure. I'll bring it all over to that side. Give it a crease. And then take a look at it compared to the top of my page there to make sure that it lines up. And then go ahead and wait there and give it a crease. So that's going to be my first page. Then I find rulers make it easier for me to do my folds. So I'll go here. And here, let me get, since I have it on there, I'll show you real quick. Give it a fold. And as you can see, I'm going up to this fold in the card, but not on it, because you want a little bit of leeway in there. So I'm going to continue to fold this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've folded a bunch of these pages. I could add a lot more, but one of the things that I was thinking could be an option, of course you would trim this, is to glue this to the front, and then you could have double-sided pages if you were to glue these together beforehand. So let's take a look at that real quick. So if you were to glue that together, you could have a double-sided page there, a double-sided page there. This one is glued to it, so you would have to kind of reconfigure how this thing would work. Like you would have to add more pages. Let's see how we could do that. Yeah. So what I would do is I would glue this to this back piece right here. And then I would glue that. Glue that. Of course, I would add more pages, however many pages you wanted in your journal, and glue them together. And then you could have double-sided pages in your card journal. So that's one option. The other option is just to leave it the way it is and just keep decorating. If you were to just keep going along here and collage other pieces of paper on here, that would give it plenty of strength. And then you would have all the pages that you needed. So that's your other option. So yeah, that's how I made my little card, well, it was my file folder journal. So what I'd like to do next is show you how I used my envelopes. So how I did this is I took them apart. First I take them apart. Okay, real life problems. Yeah, this is pretty bad the way I tore this up, but there's always a way around destroying something made out of paper. Usually it's adding more paper. So let's see if I can remember how I did this. So I'm going to use, I'm just, eyeballing 1/4 inch there. And then, see if I can get it straight. And then about 1/4, I keep moving it, there. Then about 1/4 of an inch on this side, roughly. Try to keep it as straight as possible. Yeah, okay. Right about there. None of this is exact science. It's all about just, you know, using what you have, being creative, having a little bit of fun. Okay, so as you can see, now it's offset. But I think it's pretty good. But see how it's offset here and here? So what I'll do is I'll just give that a quick trim. And what I've done in the past, I'm going to try not to crease it, is I'll bring, here, let's fold this back a little bit, and then we'll fold this extra fold back a little bit. If you've seen somebody else do this, please put it in the, you know, that has a better idea, like how to do this. Please put a link in my comments, because I wouldn't mind a better way of doing this. So put those two folds together like that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to try not to crease it, but if it gets creased, it's not a big deal. And just trim. There. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. Same thing over here. Okay, let's try it one more time on here and see what we have. So as you can see, this one needed to be folded again and trimmed because it was too long. I had to cut the side off here because it was too long going in this direction. So those two got cut back to make it fit onto this. Okay, so I think it goes, yeah, this is usually the way it goes, like that. So I have a hole right here that I think what I'll do there is I'll take some of the pieces that I cut off of here and I'll patch that. So just like if you had, you know, junk mail, it'd be pretty much the same kind of idea where you go over and you try to, you know, fix some of these little issues that arise when you're tearing a envelope apart. So I'll just go ahead and add some glue there. I could just tape it, but since I have these pieces, I might as well use them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it back together. You know what I think I'll do? I like the way this looks a lot more than putting the whole thing down like that or that. So what I'll do is I'm going to glue this flap down, and then that'll give me an opportunity to put a piece of paper along here. So let's do that. So I'm kind of wondering, like what could go. I kind of want to do something here now. So here's the thing. I use this paper too, art pad. It's just a scribble pad for kids. And it's really a great surface if you're painting and you don't want it, and you want a surface, you don't want to get it on your mat. You can use this to paint on, and then you can have, you know, kind of a cool painted, like fodder for your art journals. It's kind of cool. But I never throw anything away. That's kind of my motto. I was thinking about maybe using this as the inside, because you won't be able to see anything through it. But you actually kind of can, but I'm going to cut this piece out right here. But what my point is like when it comes to paper products from the Dollar Tree, keep everything. Let me show you here. Like the back, this chipboard is awesome for projects. You can use that for journals. You can make journals out of it. You can make tags. That could be a master board. There's lots of things you can use that for. This is just an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work or not. We're just here having fun. I'm going to trim it down too much just in case. But see, that's an idea, you know? If I were to cut that down. Let's see now. Here's where the crease is. I'd want it in. That's just an idea. I really just want to share some of the ideas I get once in a while when it comes to using what you have, especially when it's from the Dollar Tree. And I like it. I mean, you can still see parts of that, but, you know, I might collage over that. I don't know. And as far as this is concerned, I don't want to do anything to this yet as far as how it's coming out here. One of the options with this is, where's that journal? Here it is. When you get to the, if you have a little bit left over, you can always just glue the edges together and make a pocket. But I might want to add more pages to this. So right now I'm just going to leave it as is. The whole point of this part of the video was to show a no-sew easy art journal that you can make out of a greeting card and use the envelope as a tuck. Yeah, okay, let's go to the next journal. Now this is a fun one. I am going to actually refer you to my accordion envelope journal video. So I'm going to go through a quick kind of run through of how I make this, and then I'm going to refer you to the where I go through the whole process of making one of these. So it's from these Clasp craft envelopes, and I've taken off the little metal closure and I've tea dyed them. And let me open these up real quick. So there's one thing about these that I was kind of pondering about when I was thinking about making this video. How I made them in my other video is, here's the bottom, here's the top. If you fit these two together like that, glue this down, and then you have an opening here. There's all kinds of different ways of, when you fold it, you can cut, you can clip. There's all kinds of different ways of making the journal once you've glued these pieces together, right? So, but I was kind of wondering, and you may not want a tea dye. Not everybody wants it to look grungy. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not too sure about how I feel about how grungy it looks all the time. I'm almost kind of thinking I'd like a break from the tea dyeing. So be extremely careful when you are taking, this metal is extremely sharp. It will cut you if you're not careful. So if you feel like you want to put a piece of tape over it before you do this, let me grab some tape. So I'm gonna throw some tape on here real quick and see if that helps make it a little more safe, and then kind of curl it around that maybe, and then pull on it. I would hate for you to cut yourself. Here, pull that up a little bit. Just kind of use it as a... Tape is what I came up with. Maybe you'll come up with something a little bit better, easier to work with than the tape, but I thought safety first, right? So I'm going to take this one off of here. I could have reused that, but oh well, a smaller one. There. Don't push it all the way down. Try to get underneath there with the tape. There, that's a little bit better. Okay. So what I was thinking is, instead of trying to get this off of there, if you decide you're not going to tea dye it, you can pull on it. Let's see if we pull on it, what happens. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, and then you want to kind of get in there and make sure that, see how that's not exactly, here, let's grab this. See how it's on there a little bit still? You have those little pieces that'll hold it together. Make sure that those are loose, those are free. And then you can do the whole fit that in there. Fit that in there, but do not go, let me put that on there. Make sure when you do this, and I think I showed this in my other video, I'm not sure, but make sure that you don't go all the way to the fold line. Give yourself a little bit of leeway on there, or else it won't fold correctly. Okay, and if it doesn't, just fold it, muscle it in, it's not a big deal. But what I was kind of wondering is if you didn't want to go through all that and you just cut. I wanted to see how that might work out. Okay, there's the bottom. There's the top. So what I was thinking that is, if you did it this way and you glued, here, let's glue it real quick. Let's just do it. Now you could actually use the glue that is on here already, right? You know what, I'm going to take that off. I feel like I could use that for something fun. At least not want not. Let me grab mine. I also don't want to get glue on my work surface. So let's get this glued up. So this is just kind of a different way of doing the same thing that I did in my other video. So I think I wanted to go this way. Like I said, don't go all the way. Leave a little bit, just a little bit of room. And that way you have an option for a pocket on this side and an option for a pocket on this side. So let me fold this real quick. Now there's lots of different ways of folding these. I can go this way or I can fold it the other way. And then fold it like this. And then fold it like this, like an accordion. Like I said, I go into more detail in my other video, but I just kind of wanted to go through this option because for $1.25 and you get 8 of these, you could make yourself a pretty big journal, right? And so you have a pocket here, you have a pocket here. You could have, if you glued that down, you could just do a cut here. Let me do a cut there real quick. Kind of hard. Hold on. Let's see. You could cut it like that. So you can have a top loading pocket. You know, glue this down. Let me do that real quick. Let me glue that down real quick. Let's see. Is it that one? Get yourself something that you can put down in there. This is just a piece of the cutting board that I use. I cut them down. So just kind of put something in there to hold it so that when you glue that, it doesn't, you can still get a tag in and out of there. So there you go. Let it, and then just keep adding as you want. You know, you can add as many or as few as you want, and then you have kind of a cool little accordion journal. Hopefully you'll kind of pay attention a little bit more to, you know, how you folded it. I kind of just threw this together, but yeah, it's really fun to have. I really use the heck out of them. I love them. Okay, what's next? So one of the things that I was thinking about was, now I don't know how this would work. I mean, I don't know how this is going to work. There's so many people out there that do the flip-flop journals. And I thought I would just kind of play around and see what I could come up with. This is just, yeah, this is the Dollar Tree envelopes. And I tea-dyed them. You can get them in both sizes. And I thought, you know, because of the shape of this, that would be a really cool flip-flop journal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just a couple of these and a couple of these. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've never done this before, so this could turn out to be a mess. Okay, so I had to take a break to watch a couple of videos because I was really struggling with how I wanted to do this. I hope I'm not getting out over my skis on making this many journals for this, but I really wanted to make the journals and then going forward, play with them, you know, fill them up, show you how I'm going to use them, decorate them, that kind of thing, and then refer back to this video if you wanted to see how I actually made the journal. Okay, that being said, I watched a few videos and it seems as though the best way to do this particular journal would be to keep them intact. Instead of this open kind of thing. So what I did was when I watched some of the videos, I noticed that the envelopes that most people used went straight across here and then had just a thin flap here. And so the construction of the journals that I was finding were very, I couldn't open them up because then I'd have this thing. And I'm looking at it going, you know, that is just not working for me. That's not how I want to do this. But we want to have this nice crease here in order to fit our journal inserts. So that's what we need that for. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I came up with. I'm wondering if I could just get away with this as far as adhering it on there. I think I'm going to try. If I have to glue it more later, I'll do that. This is an experiment. I am not completely sure that this is the best way to do it, but like I said, I watched a bunch of videos, and one of my favorite gals mentioned that every time she makes one of these, she makes it different. So I think I wanted that one to do that. I wonder if I don't know if I want to do it like this and cover that. Like that. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll just do that. Okay. I mean, it's not crucial if everything is perfectly straight, but there's got to be a better way. Okay. And then I think I wanted... Okay, so that's one of the things that I didn't take into consideration, did I? Yeah. Okay, so I have a good flippy floppy kind of situation going here. I'm happy with that. But I didn't take into consideration, was I going to do it like this? How was I going to do that without losing? See, now I'm going to lose one of my pockets because I didn't plan this out quite the way I should have. All right, so I'm going to pull these apart because I'm going to have to do it no matter what anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. This was a mistake. I should not have done it this way, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, to be honest with you. So it's down in there. See if I can get this in there a little bit. Yeah, this is going to be really hard because I really glued these, didn't I? But you know what? I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking? Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. Let's fix this. I'm going to fix this real quick. Get a bunch of glue on there. Just stay. There we are. Okay. Now I'm leaving this mistake in because I don't know, I just feel like maybe it could be instructive somehow. So this little guy needs to go there. I'm going to go ahead and just put it on there. Okay. Let's put it on there. Hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, we'll just have to tear it apart and try it again. Okay, I'm going to go with one more flop. And if it doesn't work, we can tear it apart. So, like I said a little while ago, most of the videos that I found are using a different type of envelope. And so I'm having to kind of figure this out on my own a little bit, which is fine, you know. Come on. Let's see if that'll be okay. Yeah. It's a little bit out, but I want to have a room for to sew a signature in. Okay, so I want to use this up in this journal for some reason. I just feel like it's going to just get lost and mutilated somehow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on this one, and then I can just tuck things into it. I would put it this way, but I feel like if there's an insert there, it's just going to be too hard to access. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it on now so it has a home. I don't need a lot of stuff floating around in my creative space. I have enough of that, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a home now. I'm going to go a little bit low, just kind of a little offset there. I could have made a tuck spot out of it, but it's kind of, it's a little bit fragile from tearing it apart. So I kind of like this thing, and I was just going to build it and then leave it, but I kind of, you know, we'll have a few more minutes I feel like I can spend on it, and I thought I'd go ahead and make some inserts. And so I'm going to take a look at what I have to work with. This is some more of the pages from the notebook that I had that I had torn out to kind of thin it out a little bit. I thought I'd use some of these. Some tea-dyed lined, a little bit of parchment, and some tea-dyed copy paper. So these are what I'm going to be making my inserts out of. But the first thing I think I want to do is I want to cover some of, cover this, for instance. And this is just a paper bag that I had. I think it's from the Dollar Tree. I'm not sure at this point. But I kind of want to have something kind of substantial to just cover this with. Let's see, what else? I think it was just those. I think it was just this one and this one, these two that I wanted to cover. This is going to take some doing because I'm not sure if I want to cover all the way up like that or not, or maybe just a little bit. I'm not sure how much, or if I just want to go over it in this fashion like that, just, you know, kind of patch it in. So I'm not quite sure how I want to do that, but I do want to make sure that this is covered and that other one's covered. But I don't know. I was thinking about this. I'm going to go ahead and tear it and see if I like it. Well, let's see if that worked. Yeah, that's fine. All right, that's a nice surface. Okay, so on here, I think what I'd like to do is try to get just some tea-dyed paper in there. It's almost just right. So going from the top here and going down into the envelope around that far, I think would be fine. And then, let's see, about not very much at all. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take this off first. And then I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off with my scissors. See if that'll be enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just trim these off. Hopefully, if I do that, the corners will slide in there a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it from here down, slide it in, and then glue this part. Hopefully that will work. Let me get my cutting board here. All right. Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's better. All right, so I'm going to try, I'm not going to decorate it today. I'm just going to kind of build it, but I'm going to see about making some inserts for it. I think that this would be a good size for that. Now, I'm not going to go too fancy on these signatures like you'll see in a lot of videos. My options are really limited with Dollar Tree papers. So I'm really going to kind of try to keep it simple on this. So I want my paper to be about maybe 3.5. 3.5 by 6. Okay, so I'll sew that right in there. So that'll be the first one. Let's see, I'll take one of these. Okay, that'll do it for that. So these need to be about those are 4. Yeah, I don't want it to go past that. So 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, so I have that one for that one, but I'm wondering, I think I should have cut this one small enough for that. I do. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. Let's see. 8.5. Nope. Let's see. It's 8 and it's a little over 8. So I'm going to cut it at 8. There, I'll just cut it there. Okay, I was going to throw all these strips away, but I grabbed them back out of the recycle because I can use them to collage bits of this later. Okay, let's make sure that'll work. Where are we again? Oh, here we are. Okay. I'm not sure I like this one on the outside. It's not doing anything for me. Let's do that. Okay. So I have 4 signatures, 3 pages each. I'm not going to sew them all in this video. I don't think it's necessary. But I am going to do one of them. And I think I want to do this little one. So let me grab these out so they don't end up on the floor. Good measure. Okay, so that's about the middle right there. I think I have one that has a smaller little end to it. Because that one really put a hole in it. Okay. Let's see if I can get this halfway. Yeah, it's the same. Not sure I needed that much baker's twine. Whoops. There, let's see. Okay, that's good. Now, if you don't necessarily need you don't really need that. It's sometimes you can just do it with just the needle. Let's see, did I put a hole in it? Yeah, I did put a knot in it. Oh, I almost had it. There we are. Well, you know what I did that I'm seeing that I did is that I went really low here. I mean, yeah, I went really low. So what I'm going to do, I don't know how I did that or why I did that, but I'm going to go ahead and fix that because I don't like the way it looks. I don't care if this is low, but the paper was bothering me. There, that's good. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew all the other signatures in off camera. Okay, so here's my Dollar Tree junk journal made out of envelopes. Here's my first signature, kind of cute. My second one with a pocket here, plenty of space to decorate. Third one, pocket here, signature, pocket here, flip, and pocket here, and another signature, and a place here even to decorate. So yeah, I hope you like this video. I know it went a little bit long, but putting this whole thing together the way I did kind of was a little impromptu, putting the signatures in, but I was just kind of excited about it and I wanted to share that. Well, I hope you like this video. I hope that you will try some of these journals out from your Dollar Tree supplies. And until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.